So today I'm going to explore the National Archives website. When I was exploring, I had the purpose in mind of a fifth grade research project that I'm starting that focuses on the civil rights movement, specifically Martin Luther King Jr. and his involvement. The fifth graders will be doing just research on Martin Luther King as a pretty basic research project, but this will be the first time that I'm going to be using primary sources as a focus. So I thought the archives would be a great place to start. When I went to their website, the very first thing I noticed was educator resources, and I went ahead and clicked. And I know that DocsTeach has been brought up to me before, so I went there as a place to start. So DocsTeach is part of the National Archives, but the actual website for it is docsteach.org. So once I was there, I knew this was a great resource for primary sources, so I wanted to look for something related to Martin Luther King that was appropriate for fifth graders, most of them performing below grade level. So it couldn't be too difficult for them to analyze or use in their research. So they have one-to-one devices, and I knew I could link to their online learning platform or a teacher-made website that I often use to teach. So I thought about going over to the menu, but then I scrolled down and went into Explore Documents, and there was a ton of resources there, and so it was a little overwhelming. So I went back and I found this Discover tab, and when you click on that, you can search for a keyword. So I started with Martin Luther King Jr., and I was able to refine by grade level. So I went with upper elementary, and I searched, and a pre-made activity came up. So when you click on the activity, you're able to see information, which I did like, that it was showing the Bloom's taxonomy, and it was able to show that they're analyzing, which I know is a higher level thinking skill, and I started the activity. When you start the activity, it gives you directions, which I thought was great for students to use as a student-centered activity that they could do on their own pace. I may use this as a pre-teaching tool, do this as a whole group, and then let them go in and explore. So it starts with a photograph that is actually zoomed in, and then students are able to scroll down, and they can switch the view of the photo, and it shows the entire photograph that was taken. I think this would be great to talk about how this is not an illustration, this is an actual photograph from this event, and then they can scroll down to some discussion questions. So this was made by the National Archives, and I can see this being done, a link to a Padlet or possibly a group discussion, bring them back together, discuss the questions here. Then what I liked even more is when you're done, it gives a little background on the photograph. They can click, it links them to the First Amendment, which links to the photograph, but then where the search tool was a little overwhelming for me, this links them directly to photos from the March on Washington. So if the students click on this photos, it takes them directly to photos that you could possibly use this as an extension. They might have to, create something to talk about it. You might blog about what they see, but they could explore at their own leisure. So there's many, many, many photographs that the archives has on this linked website. You could see Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. I believe that you can search by what the document is. So if you wanted students to just see a poster, they're able to just see a poster, different items from this. If they go back, they're able to then post the answer to their question. So who else participated in the March on Washington? This could be a class, this could be an exit ticket, this could be something that they use as an assessment. You could, in my opinion, you could change this question for the purpose of your class, but then through this website, they're able to send a response. They can send with their name, and then they can send it to you as the teacher. So there are so many resources on this website, but for the purpose of my project with my fifth graders, I found that this Discover tool was a great place to start teaching them about primary sources.